Hi, I'm Jennifer from Unveiled Wife, and I am just thrilled about this specific interview because she's one of my best friends through online, and I can say that because she has just been here from almost the beginning of my, my journey with Unveiled Wife. And so I'm very excited to introduce Jennifer. And Jennifer, could you just please share with the community a little bit about who you are?
Hi, I'm Jen, and I've been married, it'll be 12 years this year in June, and I will be entering my mid-30s next month. That seems kind of wild. I'll be 34 next month. My husband and I, we have a son who's 3.5, and he is all boy. I recently went back to work part-time at one of our local hospitals. I'm an x-ray tech, and that really was the best thing that could have happened to our family at this time. 3.5 years of being home with him, and it was time. He goes to preschool, he goes to daycare. I know that can ruffle some feathers, but it works for our family. And I discovered Unveiled Wife, I think through Facebook. I think I just Googled encouragement for wives or something, and I don't even know if the blog was even up, but the Facebook page was at the time, because I remember being pregnant, or I don't know if I was still pregnant or just became a stay-at-home mom, but I remember thinking there's a lot of blogs and a lot of advice for moms, but not for wives, or I had not found any at that time, and I wanted to remember that I was a wife, and this will ruffle some feathers, but I love my husband more than my son, and I needed to focus on that relationship. So that's how I found Unveiled Wife, and here we are.
Here we are. And, when I first started the Unveiled Wife, I did start the Facebook in conjunction with the blog, just for that daily encouragement. And I remember seeing your name pop up when you would leave a comment or an encouragement, and you were one of the first supporters of Unveiled Wife, and just the way that you encouraged me was so amazing and so needed, Jen. So thank you so much for that. And I just love how God has built our friendship over the last few years, and we've been able to encourage each other as a mom and as a wife. Yeah. And I love that you are a part of Unveiled Wife, and you're also a contributor. So I'm going to link that below. You can go to unveiledwife.com/contributors and see Jen and see all the articles that she's provided for Unveiled Wife. And also, where can they find you? Because you are also a blogger and you write.
I do blog every now and then. I am at thepurplebuoy.com. I chose that name because Anchor was taken, and purple's my favorite color. And when I think of a buoy, I just think of just staying afloat. And if you go on my blog, you'll see trying to stay afloat and encourage others along the way, because this journey called life is hard, and we need encouragement. Yes. And that's what I hope people find on my blog.
And they will, because you are open and transparent, and you talk about relevant issues. And so go check her out. Okay, so I am so excited to kick off this April series, and specifically going through Wife After God together as an online community. And today we're talking about chapter 1, and it's about purpose for your marriage. And so, Jen, can you just share maybe something specific that stood out to you about this chapter?
I never thought about my marriage serving a purpose. When I was first married, my husband and I guess let me give you some background. My husband and I are complete opposite. He's an introvert. I'm an extrovert to a point. This terrifies me. Skype does. Interviewing does. But I initially thought we got married because I was going to make him a better person, being young and arrogant, and that's what I thought it was. So when you asked about God's purpose for your marriage, and I was like, oh my gosh, marriage can serve a purpose. And that was eye-opening to me. And I mean, I grew up in church all my life, and I even went through, we had that pre-marriage counseling, but no, it was not talked about. It was never brought up. So it was a good thing. It was a good thing.
So can you describe for the community how you view your purpose for marriage now?
I would say in what your devotional talks about is to reflect God's love, and that might look different in every marriage. For me, it's I need to be a lot less selfless and take more of a servant role, not a doormat, not a slave, but Jesus came to serve, and he didn't expect anything in return. He didn't ask for, what can you, I mean, he asked us to follow him, but, I used to be like, well, if I can do this for my husband, Matt, then he can do this. It was more of a give and take. And Jesus, that's not what he did. And that's not what God does. Jesus came to serve. And so for me, it's living less selflessly. And that's how my marriage can reflect God's love, because he came to serve and serve selflessly. And that's what I need to do more in my marriage.
And I love that you talk about serving, because like you said, that's a huge part of what Christ came to show us, and he gave us that example. And I would love it if you could share how, because I know that there's a lot of mothers and a lot of wives listening right now, how can these women practically serve their families? What are some things that you do that you can share with them?
For me, it's being a joyful servant, and not like, oh, the house needs clean. Clean the house when I am home, because I do work part-time, and instead of just laying around, for me, I struggle with laziness too. So to clean the house, and when I go to the store, just buying like my husband's candy bar unexpectedly and leaving it for him, packing his lunch, leaving a note in his lunchbox when I do that. For my son being 3.5, it's hard. It's hard, I guess, because he's not going to give me anything really. So we're still learning that. So I think just meeting his needs without thinking it's worthless, because what moms do is a worthy cause, and it is important. So remembering that and doing it with joy, for me, has been the challenge. And just trying to keep up the energy, because I have a physical job. It is physically challenging. It's also mentally challenging. So to just pray, God, give me energy, because I am weary.
Many of us are. Many of us are. We have to pray that often. Well, one of the things that I wanted to mention real quick is, because I follow you on Instagram, and I always see these beautiful posts of you and your family, and specifically about serving. I notice that you really take the time to include your son when you're cooking, whether it's a treat, a special, dinner, or, you just have fun with him. And I love that. So I just wanted to pick on you for that, because I think that for all the moms listening, I think including your children in the everyday, and like you said, being joyful to do that is really special, and it makes it special for the kids. And on the other side of that is, I see you also often post about your husband with your son, and you'll post a picture and you'll say such sweet things. And I think if we can kind of boast about our families online like that, and share with people how to set up those opportunities where, your husband can spend quality time with your son, I think that's beautiful. And I know that for me personally, I like to encourage my husband to do the same. And I don't know, that's been an encouragement to me.
It had, when I stayed at home with my son, it was a lot easier, because I was just exhausted. So my husband would come home and I'm like, here, he's yours. And so it was easy to, I guess, nurture that bond for them. But my husband is fantastic with that too. And when it comes to including my son, first of all, I embrace the mess, because you will have mess in the kitchen. And I've never been one that needs neat, orderly, clean. So that does come a little easier. But I also remember this is a season, and it is going by. I know people say it'll go by fast, and it does. So I try to remember this is a season. I will miss this time. And he's also an only child. And I think it's easier for me to remember that, this is my only opportunity to have this time. So we embrace the mess, the chaos, and smile along the way.
I love that. Embrace the mess. We all need to do that today. Yeah. Well, as we wrap up this interview, is there one specific thing that God's been teaching you lately, or something that you would like to encourage the wives in our community with?
Not one, but two things.
Okay.
That, first of all, my husband is not the enemy. Satan is. And we have to fight Satan together with God's help. And the other one is that God is always there. There were times in this recent season of my marriage where I wanted to leave, and God was saying you have to stay. And I think, whether or not people choose to stay or leave their marriage, He is always there in the good choices, the bad choices. But it was hard for me to stay. And I would be crying in the bathroom like, God, why do you really want me to? And I just felt Him there. And I wrote it down because I want to get it right, but Psalm 94:19, when doubts filled my mind, your comfort gave me renewed hope and cheer. And I can honestly say I had that, and I do have that. And when the hard times, because I know hard times are going to come again, and when they do come, I'm going to have to cling to this verse again. And I know it can encompass any area of your life, but He is always there, and He is going to help me and my husband fight the real enemy, Satan.
That's beautiful, and I think that so many women hopefully would cling to that verse as well, because I know that you're not alone in feeling those hard feelings about marriage. I mean, they just come.
They do.
Well, Jen, thank you so much for this interview, for spending time not just here, but specifically for me, walking through Unveiled Wife with me and being that supporter. I value you so much. And I'm praying for you and your husband and your son. I hope that you guys continue to do really well and grow, and just continue to embrace the mess.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for your vulnerability and being unveiled for all of us.
You got it. Anytime. No, I give God all the glory. He really has helped me to be able to do that. So I'm honored.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.